Hi guys, how are you healing? Welcome to my channel. This is the BB Rebellion, where we challenge societal norms, focus on love, true freedom, and claim our best lives, because why not? This channel is about self-love, self-validation, and being full of yourself. This is where you redefine the boundaries put on you of just how much you can love yourself before it's too much, and where you refuse to give your power away or wait for someone else to appreciate you or tell you you're good enough. Today we'll talk about how the labels we give each other and allow others to give us can have, and will continue to have a negative impact on our lives, since accepting the labels entails agreeing to whatever comes with them, good or bad. Labeling has been weaponized, as it masquerades as efficiency. In this definition, labeling is clearly being defined as divisive. Yet, the tactic of using labels to control the masses for the sake of a civilized existence often leads to a less than civilized outcome. I have heard social security numbers described or compared to the numbers or brands they burn into livestock skin. Even children notice how social security numbers, credit scores, labels for the products we buy down to the types of phones we use, "Are you an Android person?" have been used to categorize people and, depending on the goal, exclude, manipulate, or oppress at will. What is even more concerning is the fact that with enough propaganda, roles and circumstances could be switched or become irrelevant overnight. When you don't know who you are, it's easier for others to decide who they want you to be. Let's take self-appointed government officials. These positions have been made up by man. The dollar bill, the land that houses sit on, even our houses. These things and so many more down to the laws we follow were all labeled, deemed or categorized as important or not, valued or devalued, signed over, exchanged, changed, exalted, diminished, and so many more verbs by a person, or a group of people who decided for us what we would do and or have for the rest of our lives and the level of need that would be placed on it. Take money, it's paper. Yet people will kill for it, and people die when there is not enough of it in their lives. From the penny to the highest denomination, someone else has decided exactly what can be done with them. And we agree, adjust our minds accordingly, and now the penny has no value. The name penny alone holds the tone of less than, mainly because it is the smallest denomination, until you get enough of them together at least. In history and in recent times, it has been proven that some labels are more detrimental than others. Labels have become more than an identifier, but a source of comfort, or a reason to fight, and interchangeable accessories. As we have established throughout history, labels are powerful. But what, or should I say who is even more powerful, is the people doling them out. This is where one can get lost. We see that a label can determine someone's, something's, circumstances, or fate at any time. But what happens when we take that power back and start to label ourselves, or not? Now, on the flip side, people can also be provided with a false sense of security, depending on what they have been labeled as. It all boils down to treatment and application, and who is applying the label, and who is receiving it, not so much the word itself. With labels, people can be herded like sheep, isolated and mistreated, or not. What I am trying to show here is that we give so much of our power away, we fight for these labels, or because of them. For what exactly? We even justify killing in some instances because of labels. What if we stopped hiding behind labels and referred to people and circumstances, well, as just people and circumstances? This person likes this person did this to this person did this or did that, good or bad. Where would our focus be then? What would we hang in the balance to ascertain? One might say we might only consider the deed, the actual action of an individual, nothing else. A world where people would truly be measured by their contributions, good or bad. Would this work? Or have we as people become too desensitized through movies and media, and we need labels as a lifeline to provide stimulation? Glorifying what maybe should not be glorified or destabilizing what should most likely always remain stable, like love and kindness. And the good guy always prevails, who writes the script and decides he doesn't anyway. Not us. Labels have become file folders that supersede our deeds, good or bad, depending on what we have been categorized as. And even that, depending on the agenda, can be manipulated. So who really has the power? Case of A Unknown. This is a story of misunderstanding. Some might see this as a lack of self-control and a complete and utter abuse of authority that resulted in another person's unnecessary death. What do you think? Does it matter? We also found out that the evidence provided is based on a true story. Does it matter? Do we need to know what the people looked like, what gender they were, or race? The question is, should it matter? Fill in the blanks. We know that there were people on the scene and one unarmed person ended up unalived. But did you find yourself asking questions like, what did they look like? What was their nationality? Was it a man or a woman? Or perhaps two men or two women? Maybe even children? Let's now ask ourselves what facts are truly needed and why we wondered what the person looked like to ascertain the legitimacy of their death. The scoop. Mrs. Massey's death occurred during a routine house call to the police when she uttered the wrong words to one of the attending officers. "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." She was shot to death on the spot. I will not mention the sex, race of the attending officers, nor will I mention the race of the victim. Does it matter? Should it matter? Or does only the fact that a person was killed for saying something that another person did not want to hear? She was not mean. She was protecting herself with words, the only way she knew how. These words were not derogatory. They were not motivated by hate, but fear. They only have a history of protecting one against negative entities. Maybe the person was offended. Did they have the right to kill? The N-word is often and has been for a while the topic of many a conversation. It has a history of hate, abuse, oppression, rape, murder, plus so much more. This word was reclaimed by the Black community as one of endearment, but only when said by a person who shares the same history or trauma as the person they are saying it to. When someone says it that does not know the pain associated with it, should they be killed by the person they said it to on the spot, or anyone who was offended by it? There are actual laws such as the fighting words doctrine that states that words can be considered fighting words if they are intended to provoke violence. The doctrine is based on the idea that fighting words can cause injury or incite a breach of the peace. Please read Sonia Massey's story. If you have already, please read it again, without the added fluff this time. Read every story from now on without knowing what the person looked like or their background, just their actions.